Okay, so now that you know it, I want to tell you where this is supposed to take you. Remember, every trait has a middle space. So any method of change that makes you feel self-rejective is not a good method. This is about, I want to be me, I want to find my middle space. Any method that says you have to be like somebody else is not a good method. This method turns you into you. That's its goal. Having said that, this method of finding the middle space is not something that only Rambam wrote about. Did any of you study philosophy? One class. Did you do ancient philosophers?
I'm sorry?
Did you do ancient philosophers?
No.
If you would have, okay, if you would have learned Aristotle, you would see that Aristotle writes very similarly. But there's a big difference between Rambam and Aristotle. Here's the difference. Aristotle will say, okay, you get to your core and your center, and then you're happy. And that's the end of the story. Okay. Rambam will say, and this is a huge, huge idea, Rambam will say, and if you get to the center, you could draw closer to God, and that will make you happy. It's a very different view. So I want to take you to why I'm telling you that getting closer to God will make you happy. So I want you to think of your favorite food. Start there. What's your favorite food? Sushi. Yeah? What's your favorite food?
I really like pizza and ice cream.
Pizza and ice cream, yeah?
Chicken?
Steak.
Catching is a Persian thing. Oh my gosh, my favorite.
That's the rice, yeah? Around the
the
raptor.
rice
Oh, that's so
with
good.
with rice, and then there's chicken and barberries.
It's very good, yes. I have that, yeah.
Shish kebab.
Shish kebab.
Chicken fingers and fries.
Okay, yeah. What do you like? Sushi. Okay, you're there with your favorite food? Everybody's there with their favorite. Look how much happier you look. Look around you. Ha ha ha. Okay, that's okay. Now, food really does make you happy. So I want to I'm not going to sound like I do. It's all illusory. It's not illusory. It made you happy, right? But it doesn't last that long. Okay, why can't you take the experience, like let's say for 2 days?
It won't give you 5 hours.
It won't last you anything, because as long as the taste of the food's in your mouth, that's how long the happiness is. So it's real, but because it's confined to a very brief time space, because it's physical, it's shallow. That's why people don't have food yard sites. Like, I remember it was 5 years ago today. Okay, whatever, let's light a candle. Tashi, okay, okay, Tov. Does everybody know that, everyone in the world, do they all know that the pleasure of food, and all physical pleasure, is real but not too deep? Does everyone know this? So I want to tell you, intellectually we know it, emotionally we don't want to know this. You can see where this is so? Okay. The people who are willing to say, I want more than that, go on, they still want this. Everybody still will want this, but they want more in addition. So in current society, the place that people go in their quest for more is beauty. Okay, so people want to have gorgeous clothes, beautiful homes, they want to look good. So this will include art and dance and music and going out in nature. So all of this in fancy language is called aesthetic pleasure. So aesthetic pleasure takes you to a place that's a little bit deeper than, even deeper than sushi. Okay, so let's go another round. What kind of beauty do you like the best? Okay, shopping, art, music, dance. Okay, what do you like the best? Dance. Music. Dancing. Clothes. Classy dressing. Art. Shopping. Nature. Clothes. I want to tell you that you are the most honest mechina I ever had. I want to tell you how I came to grips with this, that most people really do like clothes. So, what do you think people say? Because they think they want to impress, they want to sound more impressive. What do people say? Everybody says nature and art. Okay, so I was once in Midtown in Manhattan, and I had 2 hours with nothing to do. Like I had to be someplace at 4, and now it's 2, and I have nothing to do. So I said, all right, like in Midtown, if any of you from Manhattan know this, there's a museum right there on Wall Street called the Museum of the American Indian. So I figured, okay, I'll go to a museum. Do you know what yichud means in halacha language? It means being totally alone with a member of the other gender. Okay, which halacha forbids. You shouldn't be behind locked doors with a man, okay? So I found myself in yichud with a security guard. Nobody is in this museum. Nobody. 3 floors, okay. Okay, finally some Japanese tourists came, okay. Then I figured, all right, it's not only me who doesn't find this fascinating, neither does anybody else. Let's stop trying to pretend to be cultured. So I went to Bloomingdale's. Do you think I had a yichud problem in Bloomingdale's? No! Okay, clear. So I do also love nature, but like, so you're there with your aesthetic pleasure? So aesthetic pleasure gives you a much better and deeper feeling than just eating. You can see where that's true? But there's still a limitation. What's the limitation on aesthetic pleasure?
Too much physical.
It's still physical to a degree. Certainly ownership of clothing is.
Yeah, we're worshiping something.
Yeah, and it's also, where will the clothing be in 5 years? Okay. It'll be post-trash. It'll already be recycled into, okay, whatever. So there's that it's not that permanent. But the other problem is, and I want you to hear this because in current society, this is what people aim for. There isn't anything higher than this. I want you to hear its limitation carefully. You could own beauty, but that doesn't make you a beautiful person. You could own beautiful objects, so it has to do with having and not being. So you're stuck with yourself. So I want to illustrate to you what this looks like. I had an aunt, my Aunt Seal, and she was widowed at a very young age. She had 3 children. In those years, it was very hard for a woman to make it financially, so she had to take any job she can get. She worked in a bookbinding factory. So there were all of these bound manuscripts and book jackets, and her job was to take a paintbrush and put it in this like can of this vat of glue, put the glue on the book backs, and then bang the covers on. I'm sure today a machine does this. So it was very boring work, it was smelly work, but it brought home money. She could buy groceries, she could pay rent. She's intelligent, so in the course of time she became the manager of the shop. So then she began to earn serious money. She invested. Okay, now she liked silver objects. She liked silver objects. So once she had money, she began to treat herself and buy silver objects. Now the only little wrinkle in this story is she had terrible taste. You all go to like tourist shops sometimes. You see things, you wonder, who buys this? You know, like an ashtray with a picture of Netanyahu. Who buys this? Like a silver ashtray with a picture of Netanyahu. Does somebody who likes Netanyahu buy it, or somebody who doesn't like Netanyahu? Like who spends $200 on the, on the solid silver? Okay. So she owned all of this stuff. You got the picture? The rhinestone, the silver elephant from India with a big rhinestone on its nose, which I think was the worst of all of her tchotchkes. Okay, so they were all like, one was uglier than the next, but there was solid silver, okay? So she got old. She had to move into an assisted living facility. And she had enough money to like get herself a nice little suite, but it was small because that's how it is in assisted living things. So it was like a living bedroom, living room bedroom, and a kitchenette. And it like was on the ocean. It had a big view of the sea. But so when it came moving day, she already had like given away her furniture, and the meals were served there. She didn't need a real kitchen. But the problem was fitting her silver tchotchkes into the room. Now the problem was, it wasn't a problem, but because she bought a beautiful suite, one whole wall was a huge window with a sea view. So that wall is not going to be able to accommodate shelves with stuff, okay? Another wall was the wall against which they put her bed. That's not going to accommodate it. Third wall had the door right in the middle and another 2 windows, so that only left her 1 wall. So in her house, she had 6 walls worth of this stuff. So there's a family meeting, and Aunt Seal offers her entire collection to any family member on one condition, that we agree to display it in the living room. Now, we aren't like great, we're just regular, like your usual typical semi-functional Jewish family, okay? But we're straight, so nobody was going to lie to her and say they were going to display it, okay? What do you think happened to the silver collection? We tried to bargain with her. Could we display it for a year? Could we display some of it? She wanted the whole thing or nothing. What do you think happened to it? She threw it in the trash. It was worth silver. It was worth minimally $5,000-$6,000. That is minimum. It might have been worth more, because she felt personally rejected. You understand this? So to her, we weren't saying no to her silver set. We were saying no to her. Okay. So this is the trap people fall in when they think that beauty is them. What you own isn't you. You could go on trips, but you don't become the beautiful forest. You could have great-looking clothes, but you don't become necessarily a person who's beautiful. You understand this? So it's a bad investment. So next time we're going to go into, and what's a good investment? Okay, clear? And this is going to take you ultimately to knowing God, as you could see. You're welcome.